No, 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 not a problem. Chair, yeah, okay, running an airline is a very complex business, and it's a very resource-hungry business. And I think we need to be very careful, especially here in Scopa, to start getting involved in talk of which foreigners are involved and which South Africans were involved and which races were involved in that sort of thing. It's not our ambit. In fact, we had a department yesterday that employs Cubans. Okay, even though the minister doesn't understand Spanish. My point is, you know, sometimes departments will, or entities will call in experts to assist them. And I don't think that's really our remit. Obviously, we should always prioritize South Africans, but I don't think that, what I'm just concerned about is that with something that is in the dire situation that is like SAA, we should be careful that we're not rearranging deck chairs on the, you know, on the platform while the Titanic is sinking. We should really look at the fundamental issues of the problems here. So, just from a Scopa point of view, I want to get into a specific instance that I'm very, very concerned about. And that is relating to a company called AAR, okay, who supply SAA technical with components, aviation components, that sort of thing. So, my first question, unfortunately, we can't do this to and fro because I think that would have been very useful here. My first question is, let's just get the common core stuff out of the way. There was a procurement process that was followed to put out a tender to supply components to SAAT. Okay. The particular bid was advertised 4 times. Okay. And then also I have information that the following persons at SAAT and the board, Yake Quinina and Zwane, and who was the other person? Oh yes, Advocate Mamela went to visit AAR in America. So now here come the questions. First of all, when was the contract awarded to AAR, and when did the visit happen? And I'd like to remind members of guests opposite that they are under oath in Parliament. It's very important to know the timeline there. And then the third question is, and Chair, we might have to come back to this because this is worth 1.4 billion rand. So I think it's worth having a proper look at it. We need to know, why was the bid re-advertised 4 times? And was it re-advertised again and again and again until the right company met the requirements to get the job? And Chair, yeah, I'll leave it at that because now I'm constrained by 3 questions, but I really think this is the kind of thing that's worth 1.4 billion rand that's worth getting into. And unfortunately, not what with all due respect to colleagues, not what the newspapers cost. Because the newspapers, frankly, are probably free. I'm sure you can tell us that. Okay, well, I'm sure they don't cost a hell of a lot of money. Okay, and it's certainly not, you know, if you cut newspapers, it's not going to help with the bailout. So let's talk about the big numbers. And tell us about AAR and give me answers to those questions, please.
All right.
And some of the people are here that I've named, so maybe they can comment as well.
Yes, I wanted the internal auditor, who is currently reviewing the whole issue of AAR on behalf of the audit committee and the board, to comment, and then I can then comment if there are areas of omission.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Chairperson of the board earlier spoke about the investigations that have been conducted as a result of some of the matters that have been reported as a regular expenditure. One of the of the investigations include exactly this matter of AAR. We looked at the entire procurement process that was followed that resulted in the appointment of AAR when they were finally appointed to do the work. We have also received comments from all the affected employees or the employees who were involved in that procurement process. What we are doing currently, we are looking at the findings, we are looking at the comments, and once that report is finalized, we will then be able to answer those questions. We have a governance process within SAA that we follow. As auditors, we do our audits, we complete the audit, then it will go to the audit committee, then from the audit committee it goes to the board if necessary. At this stage, that investigation is still with the forensic auditors and internal audit, but that process, I will say at this stage, is about 99% complete. I'm just waiting for those forensic auditors to come back with a final report saying they've looked at the comments from management and these are their final recommendations. That report, having seen it, and my colleagues, they have not, some of them have never seen it, it does answer some of the questions that you've just raised.
Okay, CEO.
I must say that the visit to AR, yes, indeed, did take place. And the people that are mentioned, it is correct. There was also Dr. Dambi, who was also the member of the board of SAA Technical. It did occur 2 years before the award was granted to AAR. And in between that period and the award to AAR, Air France was awarded the same tender. I think it was for 1 year. But I think it's best that, as the internal auditor say, the facts are all in the report of the forensic investigators, yes.
Chair, if I can just follow up. Is that correct to visit to go and visit with a bidder? And first of all, before it's awarded. Secondly, you didn't answer my question about the 4 times, why it was advertised 4 times. Okay, why did you have to advertise 4 times? And then, thirdly, just another question is, JM Aviation, who owns JM Aviation? Who's involved in JM Aviation? Who are the shareholders? And why did they come in as the BE partner when they weren't even part of the original AAR bid? Let's get to the bottom of that. Or do we
Chair,
have to wait
I'm
for a
just
report?
advised by the chair that the internal auditor answer the question.
Chair, with all due respect, so the accounting officer can't answer a question which relates to pretty serious procurement irregularities. And you know as well as I do, Chair, that I love internal audit and I'm always sing their praises. But I get concerned when the accounting officer and the chair of the board are all moving the buck around here. And it's interesting now we get into the tough questions, suddenly when the answers aren't available. What's going on? The entire day you've been answering questions, now we get to a tough one, and it's, let's let the internal audit sort it.
Okay, all right.
Honorable
that's
Chair,
fine.
I apologize to the honorable member. I'm not blocking this acting CEO to talk about this particular contract of AAR. 1, it is in courts. 2, it's part of the reports that are being reviewed that are just about to be approved by the board now. It's quite a thorny thing which has his name in it. Hence I was saying, because you mentioned 3 people who visited America. He was part of the team. Therefore I thought it is safe for this committee and public that are listening to this proceedings that he's not trying to answer by sort of being seen to be protecting himself, because he was part of that. But also because at the time he was CEO of SAAT, he wasn't acting at SAA. When he left to America, he was a CEO of South African Airways Technical. Hence, I said maybe we can speed up the process, Honorable Chair, and bring this report because it's going to be finalized on the 29th at the board meeting. As the internal auditor said, it's close to finality, it's 99% because it just needs the board approval. That's all.
JM Aviation. Tell us about that. Who requested they get involved? They were also requested to partner Michelin Tires. We're told to partner with JM Aviation, but Michelin said no. So tell us about JM Aviation. How are they involved? Who are they? Who owns them? And why were they involved in AAR?
Honorable Chair, personally, I won't know who JM Aviation is. SAAT is our subsidiary. Therefore, I am a shareholder as SAA to SAA Technical. Therefore, my role is to approve what is above their delegation of authority. Therefore, I won't know their day-to-day operations. In fact, it will be Zwane who would know who JM Aviation is. Thank you.
I think
Honorable team, can I request this as the chair is saying, it's a matter which is receiving the attention of the board of SAT, SAA, and even National Treasury. We have got an interest in it. If you could just postpone it a little bit, you'll get more of more information on it. It will be coming. So if through you, Chair, I can request that the committee just hold on to it. The issues that are raised by Honorable Team are valid issues, but I just think if we could just allow the process a little bit to be taken to its logical finality, and then be brought back to the committee.
But I'm sure you can talk to who is JM Aviations. I think if you know who they are, you can talk to them. But I do agree that when we have when we have the report, it will become easier for us to then deal substantively with all the issues involved. Who is JM Aviations?
JM Aviation is a partner of AAR. They were selected by AAR and they were brought to bid with them when this was done. And I am not really sure on whose recommendation, but they were brought by AAR.
All right. Okay.
Chair,
Yeah.
can we just see in the clear light of day what's going on here? Since 9 o'clock, we've asked questions and we've got answers. Suddenly I touch on AAR, and it's, whoa, hang on, there are reports, it's before the courts. What courts? You don't specify. And also, you know the sub judice rule doesn't work. So please, let's leave it. Suddenly things are before the courts, suddenly 99% complete reports, and suddenly we can't ask the scope of questions. Are we really going to let that go and allow them to walk out of here? Because clearly this is now, I've touched on a nerve here. It's quite clear. I knew I would. You know the work we do. But suddenly we're allowing them to walk away. And I don't think that's right. There's clearly something going on here. And clearly this group of guests here are very uncomfortable about answering these questions, including the Deputy Minister. And I would like to get to the bottom of this. And you know what? The session only starts at 3 o'clock. We've got another 2 hours or so. I don't mind missing lunch in the pursuit of truth. So, you know, Chair, I would resist the fact that we have to adjourn now and get a report. And also I'd like to point out that JM Aviation were not part of the ARR initial bid response. They were brought in later. And I'd like to know why. And I still have not had an answer. No one knows who JM Aviation are. No one knows who the shareholders are, who owns them. Because, you know, we've had this before. We had another hearing where a commissioner said, I've never heard of a certain company. And then at a later hearing, that same commissioner was terribly embarrassed. So I don't know if you really want to go down there, dude, saying you've never heard of JM Aviation.
No.
So let's be clear on that.
I didn't
Yeah,
say I
no,
don't
no, no, no,
know.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Let's. Well, there are two things we can do. One could be to allow the questions to flow, and get the responses that that are due, or we can get a comprehensive report that will allow us to engage much more meaningfully. That's how I'm looking at it. But if you feel strongly about asking questions now, I would allow you to do so. And by so doing does not mean that when the report is out, we will not have an interest in getting it and coming and having an engagement with the full report before us. I think it should not be an either or. It is not an either or from where I'm seated.
Chair, if I can get an answer in JM Aviation and we can get a date by which we are going to meet again and discuss the report, then I'm prepared to say, okay. Well, I'm prepared to, obviously, Chair, I'm in your hands, you know.
No, sure, I know. Yeah,
But
yeah.
you are a very generous Chair.
Sure.
So I'm in your hands, Chair. And I'm in my committee members' hands. They can decide against me.
No, that's fine.
But what I'm saying is, let's get an answer in JM Aviation and let's
Wait, comrades, please. Yeah.
I know my comrade Saki needs to have his lunch. But my point is, you know, if we can just get a commitment that this is going to happen, then I'm okay. But I think we need to know today, let's just get the basics right. Who's JM Aviation? Thank you.
No, that's fine. I also did not want a sense that I mean, as members, we have a right to ask questions. I just wanted to be sure that, at least from our side, we're on the same wavelength. Let's. I think the question of the date when we should meet with them, I think that is our baby. But maybe the date by which the report will be finalized and maybe the date by which it should be sent to us, if we could agree on that from your side, I think that can even assist us with our planning. And no. I just want us to tie that one down, and I would want Comrade Deputy Minister, the chairperson or the CEO to respond to those two administrative issues. And if those are sorted out, then we leave the substantive discussions for when we come next. Because I don't want us to entangle these matters needlessly so. But if you insist and feel you need to say something, I'll allow you.
Yeah, Chair, I think Chair and CEO, please provide definite dates as to when you think that will be finalized. Honorable Tim, I think I must be on record. I feel that there are some suspicions there. Well, there's nothing which makes me uncomfortable about the report. I don't know, I haven't seen it. We're waiting for it ourselves. That's all what I said. Nothing more than that. Nothing making me uncomfortable about that report. I don't even know. I don't even know it. So all what I was saying, and there are many other things that we said we are going to come back to this committee with, rather than providing half information. So I think that's critical, Chair. There's nothing that makes this deputy minister uncomfortable. I haven't seen it. I don't know it. We're still waiting. We know there is an investigation, so we're waiting for the board to bring it to us so that you can see, like many other investigations which we have alluded to into this committee.
Okay.
So if management, the questions that you think you can take now, please do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Honorable Chairperson, I also want to assure the committee, your committee, Honorable Chair, that we are happy to take any question and we will answer to any question. We were looking forward to this session actually, because the things that we are comfortable to ensure that everything about the airline and happenings within SAA, everyone must know and understand what is happening in that company. Therefore, there is nothing to hide. I am very comfortable. One, I don't know who JM Aviation is. SAA Technical has had its board. The chairperson of the board of SAA Technical has been Yake Kwinana, Mrs. Yake Kwinana that you have mentioned, who was part of the delegation that visited AAR. Secondly, I would have understood that the technical team led by the CEO would want to visit the company. You said, is it correct to visit the company before the tender is being awarded? My little information is that if you are advertising or you will be advertising, you need a technical team to assess whether the company provides what you want, or is it the right Airbus, or you want Boeing or something like that. So that is where I can end. JM Aviation, maybe the CEO can answer to who the owners are. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, JM Aviation is known to us. The directors are also known to us, and they will be part of the report. I think the main director is Mr. Nzeku, and there are other directors. I wouldn't know them off of my head, Chair.
All right. Let me start. This time around, comrades, one question. We want to bring this to, yeah.
What was the commitment in terms of the report, or the commitment in terms of meeting SAA again to discuss the report? Because I think we'll have to have an engagement on the report.
Honorable Chair, the board will meet on the 29th. That is next week of August. That is next week. I think we will be happy to host the committee or to come to the committee as and when we get the instruction. So we will get the instruction through the National Treasury.
After the 29th.
After the 29th.
But then we will need to have the report
before.
As soon as you are done with it, so that we can have time to go through it and prepare.